The fantasy era returns after a short break, and we are here for the Chinese Grand Prix at the Shanghai International Circuit. Previous 5 winners here have included Joseph Williams winning here in 2016 and 2019, Robert Walker winning here in 2017 and 2018, and of course last season we had the very surprising win of Jake Galloway for Renault, which no one was expecting in just his 3rd OC race in the top tier, that is. He won. So can we have a different winner this time out in China? Of course we've got several new drivers, new teams, and of course we had Rahul Patel taking pole position last time out in Australia, so anything can happen, although we had the normal winner with Frank Gamble winning the race in the end. The tyres we'll be using for this race will be the hard tyres, and in a moment we'll take a look at the top 10 practice results for the Chinese Grand Prix, and they are coming on your screen right now. It was Frank Gamba top, ahead of his teammate George Roke in 2nd, Evan Byrne 3rd, Jesus Perrin in 4th, Joseph Willis 5th, Jake Galloway 6th, Chris Chatfield 7th, Carlos Pedrosa 8th, Amakar 9th, and Laura Chung for Lamborghini in 10th. That was practice, however qualifying was a little bit different because the weather became wet and spiced things up a little bit. So we are going to see the starting grid, which is coming on your screen right now, and this was the result of a wet qualifying. Evan Byrne, pole position with Chris Chatfield alongside him in 2nd. On row 2 we have Frank Gamma 3rd for Red Bull and Amakar 4th for Mercedes. Row 3 we have Jesus Perrin for Renault and Carlos Pedrosa 6th for McLaren. Row 4 we have Rahul Patel for Lamborghini and Daniel Fraser 8th for Haas. Good qualifying by Fraser as well, you have to say. On row 5 we have Romain Quag for Alfa Romeo and George Roke 10th for Red Bull. Disappointing qualifying for him. On row 6 Jake Galloway for Ferrari and Joseph Willis 12th for McLaren. Row 7 we have Roland Moitian for Aston Martin and Nicolas Gao 14th for AlphaTauri. On row 8 of the grid we have Laura Chung for Lamborghini and Andrea Federi 16th for Alfa Romeo. Franco Lopez, very surprisingly, 17th for Mercedes. He got caught out in the bad weather with Amelia Wilson alongside in 18th. On row 10 we have David Kupok for AlphaTauri, Vic Santo for Williams, and on the last row of the group we have Jamie Griffiths for Williams and Julius Anderson, who had qualified in 12th position but got a 10th place grid penalty from last time out in Australia. So the weather, it was wet throughout Q1 to Q3, so of course it spiced things up. However, in the race, it's going to be a little bit different. As you can see, it is going to be a 0% chance of rain. It will be a sunny race, so this is going to be very interesting. Could Evan Byrne take his first win of the season? And could we have a different winner? Could we have Patel somehow coming through and winning the race? Could we have a Renault, Mercedes? We could have a Lamborghini win? Who knows what is going to happen? And I'm very much looking forward to seeing who is going to win this race. So let's go right to the grid. Okay, so we are now onto the grid. Byrne first, Chatfield second. Who's going to get the jump into the first corner? The 5 lights are coming off for the Chinese Grand Prix. The second race of the season is about to get underway, and it gets underway right about now. And who's going to get the jump into turn 1? It looks like Byrne has made a pretty good start. Head towards the first corner. Chatfield definitely is a little bit behind as they come to the first corner, and this Chatfield has a late dive bomb, but it looks like Byrne has got the jump. Meanwhile, Gamba and the Red Bull trying to go around the outside of Chatfield, who himself is trying to pass Byrne for first. I think he's just about peaked ahead Chatfield, but Byrne has got the corner, and he's going to keep the lead, it looks like, and he does just about, with Frank Gamba just behind Chatfield, sort of slotting in. So Byrne doing just enough to keep the lead as they head up towards the infamous turn 4. And Byrne gets through, then Chatfield, Gamba, Perrin and Patel being overtaken, it looks like, by car. And oh, there's chaos behind. There's 3 cars that have been eliminated. Jake Galloway is out. George Roke is out. And there's an Alfa Romeo out. And that is, I believe that is Quag. And it is Quag. So 3 cars out at that corner, which has caused so much chaos over the years. And 3 cars out already on the first lap. We're going to have to see a replay on how that has happened. But George Roke in the Red Bull, Romain Quag, and Jake Galloway all out of the race. 3 different teams, 3 different drivers. And so we need to see a replay of what on earth just happened here. So, as we look at the marshals pushing the cars away, and here he was, and it was Joseph Willis who was the one responsible for that. And look at that, just careers into the back of Quag, and then that's what caused all the, caused a chain reaction, really. Meanwhile, Willis has, of course, received a 22nd time penalty for causing the incident between Quag, Galloway, and Roke. Not really a surprise, considering the fact that he decided to go bowling there. Meanwhile, a battle for second place. This is Gamba on the inside of Chatfield for second place. And he is through on the inside. And Gamba is on light fuel, so that probably explains why he's so quick. Meanwhile, De Rossa trying to squeeze his way out the inside of Carr there. But he was unable to do it. Meanwhile, Lopez, who had a pretty poor qualifying, as I said, he got caught in the bad weather thanks to the Mercedes team. And meanwhile, the 2 Williams looks like going side to side between Griffiths and Sontag there. As it was, I think, Frank Gamba who set the fastest lap of the race. As the cars head through the first corner, as Fraser having a look at De Rossa as well, coming into turn 1, but all the cars coming safely through, but of course except for Willows, who's bidding and the 3 cars that are already out. Meanwhile, Gamba looks to be setting his sights already on the Irishman Evan Byrne. Of course, no overtaking here because of the yellow flag. They're still removing the cars. Meanwhile, Perrodin close behind Chatfield, and Patel also in P5, possibly looking to make a move as well. Meanwhile, Gamba is getting closer and closer to Byrne as they head across the line, and Gamba sets once again the fast lap. He's already going to have a look at Byrne into the first corner. Is he going to make the move? And he's just about alongside Byrne, and he is through, and he does take the lead. Look at that. I didn't think he was going to actually go for that. It seemed to be quite a distance away. But Frank Gamba takes the lead, and what a start that is for him. Meanwhile, Daniel Fraser on the back of Armar Carr in the Mercedes. Now, this is something you never thought you would see. A Haas passing the Mercedes, and Carr being passed by Daniel Fraser as well. No one was really expecting this, but Fraser on the inside into the hairpin, and he makes it up into P6, although Carr might try and make a fight back here. He's still alongside Fraser as they head towards the final corner. And will he keep the place? The answer is no. Fraser goes around the outside. Meanwhile, I think that was Gamba setting yet again another fastest lap, but Carr now under pressure from Roland Moyton, the Aston Martin behind, because he got a bad run at the final corner, and also Verderi as well. So we're looking to make a move. He's going to try and make it 3-1 in the first corner. It's not going to work. Oh my word! And Verderi has somehow managed to squeeze his way past both drivers. Quite incredible, and Moyton was the big loser out of that. He tried to get past Carr but failed, but Verderi, I really didn't think he was going to go for it, but look at this. What a move this was by Verderi, and how they avoided contact there, Verderi and Carr, because I mean if Verderi went into Carr then he would have gone into Moyton, and it would have been another chain reaction, but that was great avoidance by Carr. It was good that he steered to the left there, otherwise contact would have been made. And so Verderi making 2 positions in one corner there, up into 7th. What a move. Look at that. Look at that slow-mo coming through into the first corner. Great for the fans as well to see. But now, meanwhile, we're looking at De Rossi, who's under pressure from the AlphaTauri of David Kupok, who so far has had a really good start, considering the fact that the AlphaTauri car this season is pretty much the worst car. And Kupok, not letting that affect him, though, as he goes now into the points, into the top 10. Meanwhile, Gamba has stretched his advantage over Evan Byrne a second to over 5 seconds. He really is fast, but let's not forget, of course, that he is on light fuel, so it looks like it's going to be a 3-step strategy for him. Meanwhile, this is Miglos Gower, who's now looking to make a move on the back of De Rossi, heading up towards the hairpin. He's got the slipstream, now going alongside the Polish driver, and he's already going to go past before the hairpin. He's already sticking his nose in front. Gal on the inside, and he's up into 11th position, although De Rossi might maybe take a look back. He's trying to get back to Gal, but nope, he backs off and Gal has the position, although De Rossi's got a lot of fuel, so it probably explains why he is a bit slow. Meanwhile, Lopez trying to get his way out the order, now himself going past De Rossi into the hairpin, one of the main overtaking spots on this circuit, and he does go through up into P12, and now he's got to get past the 2 ATs in front of him, just to at least get into the points. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba now in for his first pit stop of the race. Going to be a 3-stop, although he was held up a little bit there. He's been held up quite significantly there by the Renault of Jesus Perronin, and Evan Byrne will be absolutely delighted with that. The fact that Perronin has held him up for a good few seconds there. Just prepare yourself for the but it looks like Perronin as well going to be trying the 3-stop strategy. And so he comes out of the pits, he'll come out a little bit further down the field. Meanwhile, Gamba comes out in, is it P13? And the answer is yes, it is. He comes out in P13, crucially ahead of Julius Anderson, so he is in some clear air. Perronin, meanwhile, will come out further down the order. Meanwhile, Verderi is now in for his first pit stop. That explains why he was so quick as well in the Alfa Romeo. Of course, again, that move on Carr at the first corner. Carr and Moyton was just amazing. Probably one of the moves of the season already, you could say. So Verderi's in, and again, similar fuel to what the drivers on the lap before have done. Meanwhile, this is Chris Chatfield, who is on the back of Evan Byrne, down the back straight, and he's in the slipstream of the Renault. He's going to try and make a move, although Byrne is defending hard in towards the hairpin, and oh, there's contact between the two. There is contact, but fortunately no harm done, but Chatfield wanted to make his way past Byrne, who seemingly does not quite have the pace. Well, he certainly didn't have the pace of Gamble, though, no surprise, but Chatfield seems to have the quicker car at the moment, and they're very lucky that Byrne's rear right wheel didn't come off. And meanwhile, this is Perronin already gaining positions up the order, going past Vidic Sontag, already passed him, whether he even got close to the hairpin. And so is the Pink Williams, unfortunately, just not a particularly great car, as you see, and just well, kind of just like in real life, really. But nonetheless, this is Franco Gamba, who is right now is behind Lord Chung, who is also behind De Rossa, and is now going to try and make a move. Although they're coming out of the back straight, and Gamba's got not a particularly great exit, although he's still just about in the slipstream of the Lamborghini. And meanwhile, Chung now going past De Rossa, heading up towards the hairpin. Chung on the inside, and she makes the move. And De Rossa, I think, has a little bit of a lock-up there going into the hairpin. No harm done, but De Rossa loses the position. Now Gamma will look to try and make it past De Rossa as soon as possible. Chatfield still less than a second behind Byrne, although he's lost some time after that attempted overtake on him. Meanwhile, Roland Moitian in the Aston Martin is in the pits, and Gamma tries around the outside towards the first corner. Not going to work. Moitian himself, who had a relatively decent start. Meanwhile, we are looking now at the Mercedes. This is of Franco Lopez, who's finally caught up to the back of Gal. I thought he'd catch up a bit quicker, to be honest, but he's finally caught up to him, and he's going to try and make a move in towards the hairpin. It's going to be a very late move, probably, as Lopez looking on the inside of Gal. It's very tight there, and oh no! And you could see that coming a mile off. And oh, the Ferrari behind, the Lamborghini behind of Chung has hit the debris, and she has going to have to pit for a new front wing by Miguel Gal. You've got to feel for him, really, and you could just see that move from Lopez coming a mile off. And how many times have we seen that over the years? And yet again, another incident at the hairpin. I say the first of the race, the first that has caused a retirement at that corner, but Lopez is in for a new front wing, so his recovery has now taken a big hit. He's now going to start all over again. A new front wing and tyres, and he'll be going on a longish stint, slightly longer than the others. I mean, he was going to pit in a couple of laps anyways, but yeah, it's a longer stop because of that front wing. 11.1 seconds. Chung as well, having to pit for a new front wing after hitting the debris there, so she's not going to be too happy about that. Nothing she could do about it, though. So we're going to have a look at the replay again of what happened. So you can see Lopez was coming at Gal from a mile back, and Gal was like, nope, I'm not letting that happen. And you could just see that it was going to happen, and there we go. You could call that for about 10 years ago. But nonetheless, Gal is out. Lopez had to pit for a new front wing, and so did Chung. So at least that actually allows Franco Gamma, of course, to gain a few positions. The incident actually between Lopez and Gal concluded to be a racing incident, which is not really a surprise. Meanwhile, we're looking at the other Lamborghini of Rahul Patel, who at the moment is running in P3, and doing a solid job as well, keeping himself out of trouble and not doing anything wrong. Meanwhile, Daniel Fraser, who himself has had a very good start to this race, is in for his first stop of the day. And he comes out of the pits. And where is he going to come out onto the circuit? Although the stop was a little bit slow. But at the moment, Chatfield again, he's closed the gap to Byrne. It's now just half a second. But Fraser does come out in P9 ahead of Sontag. That's in clear air, which is crucial. Meanwhile, Rahul Patel into the pits for his first stop of the race. Shows some good pace in that Lambo. Of course, let's not forget, they showed their pace in Australia when Patel himself got pole position, which no one was expecting at all, and unfortunately the race did not go well for him at all. The car was a total and utter donkey, and so eventually he retired with a mechanical failure. But I don't think he was even going to get points at that rate. How slow the car was. Meanwhile, Gamba is now attempting to go past David Kupok, who, by the way, is amazingly in P4 in the AlphaTauri, although not for much longer once Gamba makes the move into the hairpin. And then afterwards, Gamba, of course, has got the Mercedes of Amar Kar, who has not pitted yet either. Not sure how much fuel he has, but again, David Kupok has done a great job so far in the AT on pure pace as well. I mean, the car has been very slow throughout testing, so to be this high in the top 4 is amazing, even though he hasn't pitted, of course. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne, your race leader, now comes in, and also actually Chris Chatfield comes in as well, so it could be a pit stop battle between Chatfield and Byrne. Who is going to get the jump? Will Byrne stay in front? And the answer is yes. I mean, I think the Chatfield pit stop was slightly quicker than Byrne's, but not quite quick enough. So Byrne stays in front of Chatfield. But of course, crucially, Franco Gamma has already gone past on the fresh tyres. So now at the moment, Amar Kar is your leader, with although he hasn't made a stop yet, as fortunately the Ferrari there, Chatfield, just comes out ahead of traffic. Meanwhile, this is Videri, who is attempting to go past Amelia Wilson in the other hat, heading up towards the hairpin. And Videri on the inside. We make the move on her, and the answer is yes. So he is through. And so as Videri comes up towards the final corner, and so he'll stay ahead. And Wilson now under pressure, of course, from the car behind him. Meanwhile, this is Perronin, who's looking at De Rossa. They make a bit of contact, and Perronin trying to barge his way through, but fails there. Now he's going to have to wait to the back straight, although he might not even be close enough because he's got a bad run off the corner there. although he's got a slightly better exit, but I think he's a little bit too far back. And oh, Joseph Willows has got a mechanical failure. It is a puncture, and Joseph Willows is out of the race. And yes, unfortunately, I don't think he was going to be able to get any points anyway, but Joseph Willows now does retire after causing the chaos earlier on. He did have a 20-second time penalty, so he probably would have finished right at the back of the grid anyway. But nonetheless, meanwhile, David Kupak, actually, who was temporarily running in third, has come in for his first stop of the race. And so as we look now at the rest of the field, there's Kupak coming in, and he's going to be doing obviously a 2-stop strategy. So Patel now moving up further up the order, obviously having pitted a few laps ago. I think it was 5 laps ago to be precise. So Kupak now coming out of the pits, and meanwhile Perrinin, who's still on the back of De Rossa. Now this is Franco Gamba, who's on the back of Amar Kar, who actually, you can see on his fuel, is going to be doing the one stopper. As you can see, just the replay of them going past Willis' car. They're a bit of a close encounter, but Amar Kar appears to be doing the one-stop strategy, and the fact that he is still at the front and he's still got so many laps to do on these tyres, he's really got to preserve them. But let's not count him out of this just yet, because he's still quite a few seconds ahead of Bernard. I mean, it's going to be less. It's just less than 10 seconds, but it will gradually come down. But if Carr can keep up a decent pace, he could be in with a shout of a podium here, maybe even a win. I don't know, but Carr was looking at getting back at Franco Gamba, who now retakes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix, and he certainly is the quickest driver out on track. Meanwhile, Perrinin goes past De Rossa into the hairpin, P5 there, and Patel will be the next one to do that soon enough. Meanwhile, Lopez down in 14th position, just ahead of Chung, but of course his race is essentially over after taking out Miguel Escal at the hairpin. But of course, no penalty there because the officials decided it would be a racing incident. Now, meanwhile, Franco Gamba now coming in for his second pit stop of the race, so he got the gap to Carr by over 4 seconds. But now he pits for the second time, and he's definitely not going to try and go to the end, and he won't. So he's going to be going all out on the 3. So he's going to be pedal to the metal. So he comes out, pretty quick stop, and let's see where he comes out. So this would be crucial, of course, if he comes out in traffic. So he's down to P5. Make that P6. He's behind De Rossa. He's behind Patel, and I think he looks like he's going to come out ahead of Fraser or behind Fraser. And the answer is he comes out behind Daniel Fraser. Probably would have preferred if he was ahead of him. Meanwhile, this is Felix Sontag, who is going past Federi into the first corner. This is for 9th, and Sontag does manage to go through, so good job there by the German. So the gap Carr to Byrne at the moment is 8.4 seconds. Again, Chatfield, who's been stuck behind Byrne for almost this entire race, but has been unable to get through. And speaking of getting through, Gamma has got past Daniel Fraser for P7, but Chatfield just doesn't seemingly have the speed in that Ferrari. Well, he seems to be quicker, but he does not have the does not have the straight line speed to get past him. Of course, the main overtaking spot is the hairpin. So we're looking obviously at Sontag, who had been re-overtaken by Federi, of course, for P9. Moichin just behind as well. Sontag himself fitting this lap, and actually Moichin is as well. Moichin making a move on Sontag into turn 1, which he does, and he moves up into P9, and Sontag goes a little bit wide there, loses a bit of momentum. And so the Renault, I think, of Perrinin has just come out in P13, come out ahead of Franco Lopez. Meanwhile, Moichin now going past Federi, or trying to go past him in towards the hairpin. He's alongside the Italian, and I think he's going to make the move here. And he's on the inside, and he does make it up into the top 8 for about 10 seconds, because now he's going to jolt into the pits, or go straight on. And Federi will take that place straight back, and of course Sontag will go into the pits as well on the same lap. So they both go in, and I think Moichin is definitely going to win this pit stop battle, I think, because he's already about a second ahead of Sontag, unless Moichin has a particularly bad stop, which, I mean, is possible, but we shall see. So Moichin changes all 4 tyres on his car,
just prepare yourself for the first gear.
And so he will not be going to the end, though. He's going to be doing one of the ones doing a 3-stop. So Sontag will be going to the end, however. He's got a lot of fuel in his car, but he will be going to the end. So Moichin on to the 3. Meanwhile, this is once again the battle for second place, which has been raging throughout this race between Chatfield and Byrne. Chatfield, who's been stuck behind Byrne ever since the start, clearly quicker, but has just not got enough in a straight line. He's better in all the corners, but he needs to have more in a straight line. Meanwhile, this is a battle. This is Gamba, who is trying to go past Patel, who is stuck behind the McLaren. I think that is of De Rossa. So Gamba now on the inside of Patel, into the hairpin, and he does make the move past the green Lamborghini. And so now he'll go after the McLaren De Rossa, and he should be able to overtake it very quickly. And as we're now on the straight, one lap later, and he's on the inside of the McLaren. He's just about staying alongside. McLaren maybe edging a touch in front, but Gamma's on the inside. It's going to be a late move for Gamma, but he does make it through on the inside. And he moves up into P4. And De Rossa, again, who's actually one of the ones who's not pitted yet, although he's trying to make it back on Gamma. He makes contact with Gamma. He spins. Patel just about avoids him. And Gamma's gone wide, and Patel says, thank you very much, take the place back. But that is really not what Gamma would have wanted, because he's trying to win this race. And that is going to be a vital setback. And there was De Rossa, he was trying to make the move into the final corner. It was never going to work, and that was actually, by the way, a great save by Franco Gamma to not spin there, because if he had properly spun, then he could have said bye-bye to the race winner. Meanwhile, for Dairy's engine has blown up, and he is going to be going no further in this race. So he is going to be the latest retirement from the Grand Prix. So he is out of the race. It's a shame because he was running around kind of the outskirts of the points. Definitely had a shout for some points. And yeah. But unfortunately he's going to be getting nothing now. So as the marshal comes to push his flaming car away. And so that is another retirement. It was an oil leak for Dairy. So as we're now looking through the order. And now Gamma has re-overtaken Patel for place. And Patel is getting pretty close there. I thought he was going to do. It again. And meanwhile, Carr has made his first and what will be his only stop of the race. So I'm very fascinated to see what is going on with Carr and where he's going to be in the order. So he is going to come out. It looks like down in P6, and he was still ahead. He was still a few seconds ahead, I'm pretty sure, of Byrne and Chatfield. So I think Carr might actually be within a shout of a win here, because Gamba does have to pit. I mean, Chatfield and Byrne are pitting probably in about 2 laps' time. But Carr is going to have fresh tyres, so I wonder. I think Carr could be on for the win here. I think he could. So, let's look at the rest of the order. So, of course, the top 5 have all made a stop, with Gamba being one of the only one that's made 2 stops in the top 5. And of course, he's been making one more. Then Carr, Hupok, Perinin, Lopez, and Chung, who was 10th but is now coming into the pits this lap. I don't know if she'll be going to the end or not, but she dropped down the order. Meanwhile, we're looking at De Rossa, who of course has made his one and only stop of the race as well. He is trying to go past Julius Anderson and the cognizant Aston Martin. They head towards the hairpin. De Rossa on the inside, and he does make the mistake, and he's now up into 10th position. Anderson actually trying to attack back here at De Rossa, but it's not going to work. De Rossa on fresher tyres is going to stay ahead, but could Anderson still make a move back maybe into the first corner? He's still in the slipstream, so he could still make a late move, and he is actually going to go for it, Anderson, on the inside. He's pitting this lap, but he's going to re-overtake De Rossa for 10th position, so nice battle here between them. And of course now De Rossa stuck in an Aston Martin sandwich, and he goes actually a bit deep coming into turn 1 there. That could allow Renault to possibly have a go at him as well. And meanwhile, Chatfield once again trying on the inside of Byrne, and it's not working. So Chatfield is pitting this lap, and I'm pretty sure Byrne will be doing the same thing because they had similar fuel. And so Byrne, is he going to go in? No, actually Chatfield is going to go in before him this time. So Chatfield now has a big opportunity to jump Evan Byrne the stops, and he's been wanting to do that for the whole race because he's been stuck behind him the whole race because the car just hasn't been quite quick enough to get through. So this is a very important stop for Chatfield. He needs it to be quick. So meanwhile, Gamba now moves up another position. As we're looking now, this is Perinin, who is going past David Kupok in the AlphaTauri, and that was for P7. As we're looking, so Byrne at the moment leading, but he'll be pitting, I believe, on this lap. Gamba will take the lead, but of course he does have to make one more stop before the end, as De Rossa now overtaking Anderson yet again on the backstretch, heading towards the hairpin. De Rossa on the inside, and does he make it stick? The answer is yes. Anderson of course will be pitting this lap as well. So as we look on board with the Swedish driver, and he comes into the pits, and he goes straight on. And meanwhile, there was a Mercedes, I think that was of Lopez. Yeah, well, it had to be Lopez. That's coming in the pits, and yes, he is. And he comes out down in 12th position, and 13th even, so might be a hard task for Lopez if he wants to even get any points in this race. So we'll see if he can do that or not. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne now comes into the pit, so Gamba will take the lead. But the crucial thing is, will Byrne come out ahead of Chatfield on the circuit? Byrne has got a couple of laps more than Chatfield, so we're going to find out if that strategy has worked or not, or if it's worked for Chatfield or if it's worked for Byrne. I mean, that was a pretty good stop there from the Renault team. So where is Byrne going to come on the circuit? So Fraser's going to go by, but he's going to pit. Carr will go by as well. So Carr is in front, crucially, of Chatfield and Byrne, and yet Byrne is still going to be. Chatfield has just come across the line, but Byrne is ahead, crucially, and that is very important because he just came out ahead of Jamie Griffiths there, who is, I think, one of the only drivers to be lapped in this race. Meanwhile, Chung going past Felix Sontag in the Williams, that is for 11th position. I think up towards the heaven, although Sontag is going to try and get it back, actually. And he looks on the inside Sontag. Can he do it? And the answer is no, he can't. So, yeah, Chung moves up into another position, not quite in the points, but moves up one place off it. Meanwhile, Patel and Daniel Fraser coming in for their final stops of the race. And also Perrinin as well, coming in for his final stop of the race. And Perrinin, I don't think the three-stop strategy has quite worked for him, but still, it looks like Renault are going to get themselves a good haul of points today. So Patel is in, he'll be going to the end. I think it's a pretty good stop from the Lamborghini team. Comes out, Perrinin is in, and of course Fraser is in. I mean, both Patel and Fraser have had very good races. They've kind of gone under the radar, but they've both done good jobs. Patel comes out in 6th, and yeah, Fraser will come out in 7th. And I thought there was a bit of rain going down there, but I think it was just me. Meanwhile, Lopez now on the inside of Sontag coming into the hairpin. Can he do it? And the answer is no, he can't. But now he's going to try it on the back straight once again. And so Lopez just about alongside Sontag. Well, he is alongside. Can he actually make the move into the hairpin this time, though, is the big question. And the answer is yes, he does make it this time. So he's up into 12th, but that's still not any points for Franco Lopez. He needs to gain 2 more positions. He's got Laura Chung next on the list to move up the order into the points. Or to move close to the points, but although Sontag might actually try and get Lopez back here, he's got a good run on slipstream. Sontag might get him back into the first corner, and the answer is no, not quite. So he's going to have to stay behind Sontag, but I don't think if he gets it back now, he'll be able to get it back later, because Lopez is finally past him. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba, excuse me, Franco Gamba is now in for his final stop of the race. Now this is going to be crucial. So, and this means, by the way, that Amar Carr is going to be the leader of this race. So that one-stop strategy for him has actually worked. He is going to be leading this race, and he's in legitimate contention for the win here. Meanwhile, there's a team getting ready for a driver to come in just ahead. So Carr is going to be in first. Byrne will be second. Chapman will be third. So Gamba is going to be down in 4th. He's going to have a lot of work to do. He's got 12 laps. I mean, he's going to be quite far behind the front 3, but he's been by far the quickest driver in this race, so I don't think it should take him long to catch up. But can he overtake is going to be the big question, but I think he can, because, again, as I said, he's been by far the quickest driver on the circuit. But we will see, so it's going to be a fascinating last 12 laps of this race. We'll see if he can catch up or not. Meanwhile, David Kupok now coming in for his final stop of the race. He's had a very solid race. He's going to kind of looks like, I think, down in P9. Behind Perrinin and De Rosa. And meanwhile, Roland Moitje now also in for his final stop of the race for Aston Martin, so that will allow Lopez and Chung to move up. So Chung will now be in 10th, Lopez will be in 11th, so he does have a chance, Lopez, now of getting points. So Moitje in the pits, all 4 tyres changed, and there we go. And he comes out of the pits, quick stop there. I don't think he's going to have much chance of points though. But we are now onto the final lap of this race, and Carr crucially is still in the lead. But he's got Byrne right behind him, and just slightly further back he's got Chatfield and Franco Gamba, who are in the battle for third. So I thought Gamba would already be kind of up to these guys a few laps ago, but he's only just caught up now. And Chatfield and Gamba have fallen off of Carr and Byrne a little bit, so I don't think they've got any chance for the win now. It's going to be all about that exit onto the back straight. If Byrne can get a good enough exit, if he can get close enough, then he could make a move on Carr for the race win. It's half a second, so he needs to get slightly closer than that if he wants to slipstream. Coming on to the back straight, and can he do it? The answer is I'm not sure. I don't think he's quite close enough. Coming onto the back straight, and no, I think he needs to be just a touch closer, Byrne, to get the slipstream. But meanwhile, behind, battle of a third between Gamba and Chatfield. Can Gamba at least get the podium from this race? I'll be very disappointed that he's not going to get the win, but can Gamba at least get third? He's on the inside past Chatfield, and he is going to make the move stick for P3. So Frank Gamba takes P3, but Armour Car, one-stop strategy masterclass, is going to win the Chinese Grand Prix, and this will be Mercedes' first ever win at China, and he comes across the line. Win number 2 of the season goes to Car. So Byrne just behind is second, Gamba third, Chatfield in fourth, and Rahul Patel, quite a distance behind, will finish in 5th position. And again, a pretty lonely race, I suppose, for Byrne and also for Fraser, but they both had solid performances. They've not really put a foot wrong, and so now Patel is set to come across the line. And there we go, P5 for him. He'll be very happy with that. His first points in the OC as well, I might add. Fraser, 6th place. Great performance by him too. Jesus Perronin, 7th position for Renault. At least he'll get double points for Renault. Meanwhile, De Rosa will take 8th, although Kupok is very close behind him. But David Kupok as well in the AlphaTauri. Great result for him to take 9th position. And behind him is the Williams with Jamie Griffiths, who was nowhere in this race at all. Meanwhile, Chung will take the last point on the board in 10th position. And Franco Lopez has actually fallen off Laura Chung, which is quite incredible. But yeah, for Lopez, it was certainly a day to forget. He comes across the line now in 11th position. And we'll see the rest of the order coming across the line now. In 12th will be Roland Moitian for Aston Martin. Then just behind him in the Williams will be Felix Sontag. And so now we're looking at Amelia Wilson, who's actually 14th as well. We didn't see her at all this race. Very anonymous race for Amelia Wilson. So she is 14th. And Julius Anderson, who we thought would be finishing a lot higher than 15th, will come across the line in 15th. And that is race over. So now we'll take a look at the full race results, driver standings and constructor standings of China. So here are the full race results. Car winning ahead of Byrne in 2nd, Franco Gamba 3rd, Chris Chatfield 4th, Rahul Patel 5th, Daniel Fraser 6th, Jesus Perronin 7th, De Rosa 8th, David Kupok 9th, and Laura Chung completing points in 10th. Franco Lopez just missing out in 11th position, with Franco Gamba getting that extra point for the fastest lap. And the rest of the order as follows: Roland Moitian 12th, Felix Sontag 13th, Amelia Wilson 14th, Julius Anderson 15th, and Jamie Griffiths, the only car actually lapped down in 16th position, with the following drivers all retiring from this race: Andrea Federi, Joseph Willows, Nicholas Gow, George Roque, Romain Quag, and Jake Galloway. Of course, Roque, Quag, and Galloway eliminated all on the first lap. So now in the driver's standing, so Gamba leading Armour Car by 5 points, Chris Chatfield in 3rd, Jesus Perronin down to 4th, Evan Byrne up to 5th, Roque down to 6th, Patel up to 7th, Chung 8th, Fraser 9th, and Franco Lopez in 10th position with 6 points. Romain Quag in 11th for Alfa Romeo with 4 points. And we'll now look at the rest of the order. De Rosa keep moving up with their first points finishes of the season, 12th and 13th. Joseph Willows 14th, Jake Galloway 15th. Following drivers all on 0 points: Jamie Griffiths, Roland Moitian, Felix Sontag, Miguel Gow, Amelia Wilson, Julius Anderson, and Andrea Federi, who's yet to actually finish a race so far this season. So there we are. We'll take a look now at the constructor standings, which sees Red Bull leading Mercedes by 9 points, who Mercedes are just 1 point ahead of Renault in 2nd position. Ferrari in 4th, with Lamborghini 5th, Haas up into 6th, McLaren 7th, Alfa Romeo 8th, AlphaTauri up to 9th with their first points finish of the season, Williams in 10th, and Aston Martin in 11th. And it was Armour Car who was voted driver of the day, no surprise, for winning on that one-stop strategy. So well done to him. And that was the Chinese Grand Prix. It wasn't a particularly entertaining race, but yeah, I suppose it's difficult to say when we've always had entertaining races, but this is probably, yeah, not the best. But nonetheless, we'll see you for what should be an exciting race, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the Baku City Circuit. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you for round 3 in Baku. Bye.